is over.
My guess is that they're planning a spectacle of some kind. Something that'll scare the hell out of people.
Coalition forces launched the operation 2 weeks ago against Saddam Hussein. They're taking out as many strategic targets from the air as possible.
Do it.
All stations, weapons free.
It's a biological weapon. And they put this in Saddam's hands too?
Isn't that your friend?
The nature of our enemy is unclear now.
We're not alone. They would kill each one of you given the open shot.
Time we had a chat.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is just the thing we need to forget about last year's installment in the series. Stay tuned for our review. There's no doubt that Call of Duty is one of the best-selling and most popular first-person shooter franchises. However, last year's Modern Warfare 3 was far from what we've come to expect from it. A sloppy story, a strange zombie mode, and a multiplayer section that, although I personally experienced many hours of it over the past year, was mostly a legacy of the past, made Modern Warfare 3 one of the weakest Call of Duty games. But now it's Call of Duty Black Ops 6, a game that Treyarch and Raven Studios have spent for years developing, and after just a few hours of playing, you'll realize that this claim is not a marketing gimmick, but a testament to the game's high quality. Please watch the video review first, and then we'll talk more about it. Black Ops 6 is a continuation of the Cold War story. The Berlin Wall has fallen and the Cold War is almost over. At the beginning of the game, we see the famous Frank Woods, along with Troy Marshall and Gene Harrow, reporting on one of their recent operations that did not go as expected by the CIA. This ultimately causes this professional team to be suspended, and since our characters are not ones to sit back, they decide to form a secret team and participate in battles in their own style. The Black Ops 6 campaign starts off a bit slow, and to be honest, I didn't really like the first couple of levels, especially since the game doesn't really try to properly introduce its new characters, and the level design itself isn't anything to get the audience excited about. However, things start to pick up and the experience is undoubtedly one of the best Call of Duty campaigns in years. The game's story development was handled by Raven Studio, and one of the main positive features of this section is that each of its stages has a unique identity and a proper design. In other words, we are not dealing with a work that simply provides an environment for killing a number of enemies, nor, like last year's version, does the game try to only imitate being open world and hide behind it. At one stage, Black Ops 6 involves gamers in a full-scale espionage experience in the heart of a casino, and assigns them various tasks by switching between characters. And at another stage, you have to experience a full-scale and cinematic war with Iraqi forces, which is quite breathtaking. Even the idea of open-world stages is implemented correctly in Black Ops 6. In one stage in particular, you have to start your work from a base and, while you have a car, go to different objectives and clear them at your own taste. The design of this stage is so good that, unlike the previous version, where I personally only tried to finish the main mission and exit the stage as soon as possible, this time I was busy doing various side tasks for a long time, and I enjoyed each and every one of them. Black Ops 6 also has another great stage that has a little supernatural flavor added to it, and to avoid spoilers, I won't go into too much detail, but just know that this part of the game can be considered one of the best stages in Call of Duty. The proper design of the stages of Black Ops 6 is its main positive feature, and although there are some shortcomings in some stealth-oriented parts of the game, especially due to problems with the artificial intelligence, overall the new Call of Duty is proud of this aspect. But apart from this, the Black Ops 6 campaign has other points. For example, one of the things that stood out in the pre-release demos of this version was that it took place during the Persian Gulf War, and was related to Saddam Hussein. However, this battle does not play a significant role in the game's campaign, and its potential could have been better used. Your enemies are mostly a group called the Pantheon, whose very nature could have been depicted in more detail. I should also mention that in the Black Ops 6 campaign, you also have a base, which is an old house belonging to the Soviet KGB. The creativity we mentioned in the level design also applies to this house, in that this house affects the game's progress, and on the other hand you can find various secrets by exploring it. And it also adds a bit of role-playing flavor to the game, in that you can build 3 different structures in this house by collecting money, and upgrade your various capabilities. This upgrade does not give the game an unrealistic atmosphere at all and, for example, allows you to carry more armor, or improve your skill in using weapons. Anyway, overall, the Black Ops 6 story can be given a passing grade, and especially because the game stages really have an ideal variety and creativity in terms of design, and they really entertain the gamer in terms of gameplay. I was completely satisfied with its campaign section, but the new version of Call of Duty, in other sections that Treyarch Studio has been responsible for developing, has a lot to say, and one of the best things about it is the return of the zombie section to its usual originality. This section had a really strange style in the previous year's version, and had practically lost all its positive features. But in Black Ops 6, it is largely what it should be. The zombies section of Black Ops 6 has returned to its old form, meaning that you will fight zombies in different scenarios that come at you in different waves, and these waves will gradually become stronger. In the meantime, by killing zombies, you will obtain resources that can be used to buy weapons, upgrades, activate a series of equipment in the environment, and even open new paths that the gamer has a completely free hand to choose, and can experience this section in a different style each time. This approach to designing the zombie section of Black Ops 6 has added a sense of excitement and even tension to it. Many times in the game, there are situations where you will feel high excitement, or even fear due to the increasing number of zombies or facing their stronger species. Another positive feature of the zombie section of the game is its high experience and replay value. You can request to exit the stage in certain situations, and then you have to get yourself to the helicopter within a certain time. Of course, this is not the only way, and you can ignore exiting the stages and continue your adventure in them, in which case you will have to prepare to fight stronger enemies. Such freedom of action, along with the existence of different paths and missions in the zombie section scenarios, as well as the valuable rewards that you get with the experience of this section, all make it so that you will not get tired of the zombie mode experience anytime soon, and you can have fun with it alone or with friends for a long time. But let's move on to the multiplayer section of Black Ops 6, where the prominent role of the game's new movement system called Omnimovement stands out more than anything else this year. This system has, without exaggeration, transformed the entire mechanics of moving the character in the new Call of Duty, and it is not limited to the multiplayer section, but it shows itself more, and its impact is more tangible. In the game's new movement system, you are no longer limited to just running forward, and you can do this in all directions. The ability to dive to the sides, or other features such as 360-degree rotation while lying down, all have led to a process that can be learned over time, become more professional, and depending on different battle conditions, increase your chances of surviving for a longer period of time. Aside from the game's new movement system, which really changes the gameplay, the multiplayer has largely taken a conservative and cautious approach, meaning that Treyarch hasn't tried to make any weird changes to the multiplayer process, and has instead tried to maintain the usual positive features to provide an experience that Call of Duty fans can easily relate to. For this reason, we don't see many new game modes, and the multiplayer modes include familiar ones like Hardpoint, Domination, Deathmatch, Kill Confirm, and the like. The new multiplayer mode is Kill Order, in which teams have a key player, identified by a marker, and you have to try to protect this player from your team while simultaneously eliminating the key player from the opposing team. While the lack of new modes might be a negative for any other game, the truth is that Black Ops 6 and its successful multiplayer formula are still so compelling that it doesn't really matter. At launch, the game included a variety of maps, all of which were well designed and varied. Some maps, such as Gala or Pit, had already been featured in other games, and a number of new maps were also new, which, ironically, will soon allow you to connect with these new maps and enjoy the experience. But it wouldn't be fair to talk about Black Ops 6 without mentioning its top-notch gunplay. The various Call of Duty games in recent years, and even MW3 itself, have been top-notch gunplay experiences, and this aspect of the series has matured to such an extent that I doubt anyone would have a problem with it. This is also true of Black Ops 6, and wielding the game's various weapons, from assault rifles to SMGs, shotguns, and snipers, is a joy in its own right. And every time you take down an enemy with a well-aimed shot, you'll experience that sweet, satisfying feeling that has become a Call of Duty signature. Complementing this high-quality gunplay is the good variety of weapons and the variety of customization options. As you play with different weapons, you can install different attachments on them, just like in previous versions, which have a direct impact on the weapon's functionality. This good variety of equipment and perks also applies to the characters themselves, and there have been changes to make them more complete, allowing you to prepare your character for battle with different perks depending on your play style. If your perks are all from the same category, another feature will be activated for them, which will be a real help to you. Finally, we also have the score streaks, some of which are familiar from previous versions and some have a new design, like a guided missile. Black Ops 6 is also a high-quality game visually. This is especially evident in the campaign section of the game, and the design of the environments. Character faces, various effects, and even animations are of high quality. The game runs smoothly and well on the PC version, and I did not witness any noticeable frame drops during my experience, although from time to time, minor bugs are noticeable, all of which belong to the campaign section. This high quality also applies to the audio aspects of the game, and we do not see any shortcomings in this regard. Overall, Black Ops 6 is exactly the version that Call of Duty needed to prove itself again: an engaging campaign, a zombie section that has returned to its originality and is quite exciting, and a multiplayer section based on the successful formula of this series in recent years that can be enjoyed for a long time. And the Omnimovement system are positive features that make it easy to recommend the Black Ops 6 experience to any fan of Call of Duty and first-person shooters in general.